Utah's air pollution is a serious problem. Some general facts about air pollution in Utah is that the air pollution causes many serious illnesses, aggravates many others, and shortens the lifespan of Wasatch Front residents about 2 years. 40 to 80% of all deaths are attributable to air pollution, about 1,000 premature deaths along the Wasatch Front annually.
Many Utahns are aware of Utah's poor air quality. However, few know the true and sometimes life-altering consequences of this poor air quality.
Does Utah's air quality concern you?
It does, yes.
Why?
Because it's a community that a lot of people live in, and we breathe in a lot of bad air.
Okay. So, how does air quality affect your daily life?
Me personally, I would say it would affect me a little more because for my profession I weld, so I already breathe in a lot of bad stuff, so breathing in a lot more doesn't help.
Smog is one of the obvious physical signs of poor air quality, but to better understand what smog is and what effects it has on the environment, first we need to look at the chemical makeup of it.
Photochemical smog is all around the Wasatch Front. Photochemical smog is air pollution that looks like a mixture between smoke and fog. It is produced by one of the most commonly used inventions, cars. Cars give off a chemical called nitrogen. The nitrogen reacts with oxygen to produce nitric oxide. The chemical equation for this reaction is dinitrogen combined with dioxygen produces 2-nitric oxide. The nitric oxide then combines with oxygen to produce nitrogen dioxide. The chemical equation for this reaction is 2-nitric oxide plus dioxygen equals nitrogen dioxide. Nitrogen dioxide and nitric oxide both can cause lung irritation and damage. Also, they can aggravate asthma and chronic bronchitis and increase susceptibility to respiratory infection like the common cold and the flu, especially in young kids and older adults. After the nitrogen dioxide is formed, ultraviolet light from the sun reacts with it to form nitric oxygen and an oxygen atom. Oxygen from the air reacts with the oxygen atom to produce trioxygen. Trioxygen is known as ozone. The chemical equation for the formation of nitrogen oxide and an oxygen atom is nitrogen dioxide combined with ultraviolet light forms nitrogen oxide and an oxygen atom. For the formation of ozone, the chemical equation is an oxygen atom combines with oxygen forms ozone. Ozone is a gas that can speed up lung tissue aging as well as cause breathing problems. It can also aggravate chronic diseases like asthma and bronchitis. Ozone reduces resistance to cold and pneumonia. Ozone can cause eye, throat, and nose irritation. Also, it can damage plants and trees. Since ozone is a highly reactive chemical, it reacts as volatile organic compounds to form various pollutants and photochemical smog. So let's review. Cars give off a chemical called nitrogen. Nitrogen reacts with oxygen to form 2 nitrogen oxides. After that, nitrogen reacts with oxygen to produce nitrogen dioxide. Soon, ultraviolet light from the sun reacts with the nitrogen dioxide to form nitric oxide and an oxygen atom. The oxygen atom reacts with oxygen to produce trioxygen, which is known as ozone. Ozone is an extremely reactive gas. Ozone reacts with volatile organic compounds to form various pollutants as well as photochemical smog. Photochemical smog is all over the Wasatch Front. The smog is worse during the winter due to cold winds and inversion. In the winter, the sun supplies less warmth to Earth's surface. Warmer air lofts act as a lid and holds cold air near the ground. Pollution from cars is therefore trapped by the inversion. Mountains, which are located all across the Wasatch Front, can increase the strength of valley inversions. When the inversion happens, the soot from car exhaust creates the photochemical smog. Photochemical smog can reduce and sometimes stop the growth of plants by reducing photosynthesis. Photochemical smog can also cause heart and lung problems, eye irritation, respiratory problems, coughing, and wheezing. Another thing it does is decrease resistance to infection. Photochemical smog can lead to decreased lung capacity and lung elasticity for animals. There are many things people can do to reduce photochemical smog and other pollutions along the Wasatch Front. For starters, people can drive less. Instead of using cars, people can use other forms of transportation like walking and riding bikes. This will reduce the amount of harmful particles released in the air. If a car is in fact needed, people can buy or use cars that rate above a 7 on the smog rating of prospective vehicles. Also, people can use public forms of transportation like buses and trains. One more thing people can do is petition for a law that would make regional public transportation free during January and July. Studies have shown that in January and July, the air quality is typically at its worst. These months are bad because there is a lot of inversions that happen in January, and there's a huge increase in ozone levels due to heat and emissions in July. By having public transportation for these 2 months, people will be able to lower air pollution due to not as many cars releasing nitrogen and other harmful chemicals.
As we just learned, smog is a byproduct of rampant pollution that goes unchecked. Another byproduct of pollution is acid rain.
pH describes how acidic or basic something is. pH is measured in a scale range from 1 to 14. If something ranges from 0 to 6, it is acidic. To be acidic means that you donate hydrogen atoms. A pH between 18 to 14 means something is basic. To be basic means you borrow hydrogen atoms. If something has a pH of 7, it is neutral. Neutral means that it is not acidic or basic. Acid rain is defined as rain that has been acidified by sulfuric acid or nitric acid. This process starts from things like cars and factories. Cars and factories both give off sulfur and nitrogen. The sulfur reacts with oxygen to form sulfur dioxide. Nitrogen reacts with oxygen to produce 2 nitric oxides. After that, the 2 nitric oxides combine with oxygen to produce 2 nitrogen dioxides. Then sulfur dioxide combines with oxygen to produce sulfur trioxide.
Sulfur dioxide is a gas that irritates the nose and throat to cause coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, or a tight feeling around the chest. Nitric oxide and nitrogen dioxide can cause lung irritation and damage. Also, they can aggravate asthma and increase susceptibility to respiratory infections.
Soon, sulfur trioxide and nitrogen dioxide go through a process called oxidation. Oxidation is the process of a chemical combining with oxygen. After oxidation, sulfur dioxide changes into sulfuric acid, and the nitrogen dioxide changes into nitric acid. Sulfuric acid and nitric acid later fall down to the earth through the process of precipitation, hence the name acid rain.
Acid rain can cause buildings, bridges, and statues to deteriorate faster. Also, it harms natural sources of water, like lakes and rivers. Acid rain damages tree roots by making it so the trees cannot draw enough nutrients to support the tree. Also, it makes the leaves turn brown on the tree due to the trees having a harder time performing photosynthesis. Acid rain can also harm fish, which then harm anyone who eats the fish, such as people, bears, and birds.
According to the Utah Department of Environmental Quality, healthy pH levels are a pH between 6.5 and 9. However, a study has shown that Utah's pH levels during the years 2012 to 2015 range from a pH of 5 to a pH of 10. This can have a negative impact on the environment as shown by the pH scale below.
To lower acid rain, people can use fuels that burn cleaner and turn off electrical devices that are not being used. The government can help by enforcing tight emission standards on vehicles that burn gas and diesel.
Okay. So, what are the steps you think can be taken to help Utah's air quality?
I would say if you're going somewhere short distance, don't drive. Just walk, take advantage and use it as an exercise, or
What would be some ideas that you would have?
ride your bicycle.
Bicycle.
You can walk or run to wherever you're going.
Okay. Do you know what's the major cause of the pollution?
I would say emissions.
Okay. So, what are you willing to sacrifice to make Utah's air quality better?
Drive less.
What else?
Carpool. Carpool if I go somewhere.
Okay. So, do you know what making Utah's air quality bad?
Inversion. So we live in a bowl, basically. We have mountains around us, and all of that air gets trapped. It can't go anywhere.
Hmm. Do you have any family members that are affected by the air pollution?
No. Well, I mean, I guess we all are affected by it, but nobody with like asthma, or it would come into play a lot more.
Okay. So, what do you think as a people we should do about this?
Spread the word.
You know, don't use that much cars. You know,
As we just saw, there's a willingness among Utahns to clean our air. However, no one person can change the quality of our air. Groups such as UCARE, Utah Clean Air Alliance, and Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment have all tried to help raise awareness of Utah's air quality. Fortunately, we have seen steps taken by state officials and lawmakers who have passed legislation and provided funding, all in hopes of cleaning Utah's air. While this may not seem like a big deal, and it's not our problem, or someone else will take care of it, we don't want to have to explain to future generations why we ruined this beautiful planet.
Dear future generations, I think I speak for the rest of us when I say, sorry. Sorry we left you with our mess of a planet. Sorry that we were too caught up in our own doings to do something. Sorry we listened to people who made excuses to do nothing. I hope you forgive us. We just didn't realize how special the earth was. Like a marriage gone wrong, we didn't know what we had until it was gone. For example, I'm guessing you probably know it as the Amazon desert, right? Well, believe it or not, it was once called the Amazon rainforest, and there were billions of trees there, all of them gorgeous, and... Oh, you don't know much about trees, do you? Well, let me tell you, trees are amazing. I mean, we literally breathe the air they are creating. They clean up our pollution, our carbon. They store and purify water, give us medicine that cures our diseases, food that feeds us, which is why I'm so sorry to tell you that. Because if we don't all work together to save the environment, we will be equally extinct. Sorry.
So I choke on sun, and the days blur into one in the backs of my eyes. All the things I've never done. Sheets are swaying.